back to Perfectly Able. Today I'm here with Sarah and Ryan. Hi.
Hey, I'm Ryan.
I'm Sarah.
So they have two girls, Ava and Anna. Would you like to kind of talk about your girls a little bit?
Yes, so we have two little ones, Ava and Anna. Both of them are 6 years old. They're about 10 days apart. We adopted both of our girls. Ava was adopted at birth from Detroit, Michigan, and Anna was adopted when she was 3 years old from China. And so they are awesome little kiddos and do amazing things, and they both happen to have Down syndrome as well. What else would you say about them?
They are fun and
These are for your
smart.
children.
Thank you. And you want to cut?
It's fine.
Keep rolling.
It's okay. We're good.
They are fun and smart and social, and they love to be a part of their community at church and at dance and swimming and school, and they are just a joy to us.
So first question, how old were your girls? I already answered that one. What age were they officially diagnosed?
Well, Anna, we don't know because she was adopted from China, and we don't know anything about her birth or her birth family or we know nothing. But Ava was diagnosed at 22 weeks in utero with her birth mom.
What made you decide to adopt children with disabilities?
Take that one, right?
Okay. We both work in the disabilities field. Ryan has worked in like group homes and then for the county board administration and now for a private company that does lots of different services for adults with disabilities, group homes and employment services. And I have a brother that has autism and my aunt had Down syndrome. And my degree is in special education, so it's kind of like our jam, and that's where we met in the disabilities field. I've always wanted to adopt, and we just figure there's lots of kiddos with special needs that need adoption, so here we are.
What are some programs that have helped you and your child develop?
Cool.
Okay.
I mean,
Listen, stay-at-home mom for so long.
yeah,
so.
Sarah runs point on a lot of this stuff, and so
Yeah.
she can speak more clearly about it.
So we have been very dedicated from the beginning to making sure they get all the therapies they can possibly have access to. So from birth, Ava's had access to speech, OT, PT, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and early intervention services that came to our house and helped us learn to work with her better at home. And I think you can see the fruit of all of those therapies. She's sort of higher functioning, if you will, and she's very social and very mobile. And is able to adapt to her community and her surroundings pretty well.
And so we've used what programs? I mean,
So we use, Akron Children's Hospital has provided a lot of our therapies for us. And then
school.
Help Me Grow is from 0 to 3. And then other early interventions. She came to preschool. Ava started preschool when she was 22 months old, which is usually a little bit early. Kids don't usually start preschool quite that early. But our church has a phenomenal preschool program, and they were willing to take her and worked with her, and that we saw her growth really start to grow quite a bit when she was here at our church preschool. And then Anna did not have access to any services until she got home here in the States when she was 3.5. But right away we got her into all the same speech, OT, PT, and she was also able to start preschool as soon as she got home. So we've seen tremendous growth in her as well over the last 3 years of being home.
How can other parents or people around you guys help support you in any decisions?
I think just hearing of other people's experiences are, I think, what we rely on a lot. And so, your own research takes you so far. You can read lots of internet and, different researches, but having just another parent's perspective is how I think we get a lot of support.
Yeah, and just people that are willing to include us for. It's not always easy. It doesn't always go well. It's just not pretty. It's messy usually when we're involved. But just being invited to other kids' birthday parties or parties or family community functions just really means a lot to us. And even if we can't always attend because somebody's having a bad day or somebody doesn't feel good, we really appreciate just the invitation.
What made you decide to go out of the country to adopt Anna?
So we wanted to adopt someone similar in age to Ava. At that time, she was 2-3 years old, And there's not a lot of toddlers with Down syndrome available in the States. And at that time, China was an open adoption country, and it's closed now because of COVID still. But it's very easy to adopt from China. It is a well-established program and system. On an average day, they used to crank out, a couple thousand adoptions a day in China.
Jeez.
So the system is very like a well-oiled machine, I say. So when we went through, we were able to sort of sneak in and out right before COVID hit really globally. And we knew it was going to be an easy process. Basically, from the moment we decided we wanted to start our international home study, 1 year later, we were home with her, almost to the date. So it's a fast program. It moves quickly, especially if you know what child you want to pursue and they're available. We were able to move very quickly.
What was the hardest part of the adoption process for both Ava and Anna?
I think for Ava, we went through a period of time where the parents were a little indecisive. And so where we had sort of opened our hearts and committed and kind of gone all in, they hadn't yet given us the green light. And so that sort of touch and go was really tough emotionally for us, I think.
Yeah.
There's lots of things that's hard about it, tough. I think for Anna, gosh, when do you want to take that one?
Well, I think when we adopted Anna, it was really hard on Ava. And so she went from being kind of the queen bee. She's still the queen bee, but there was definitely a 6 to 12 month adjustment period there where we quickly learned we need to buy 2 iPads and not just one, because their sharing was not really a thing at first. And just really working to make Anna feel welcome and like part of our family. But Ava was pretty actually aggressive towards her in the beginning, and a lot of people don't know that, or we don't share that. It was a really hard time for us. But we quickly tried to, as fast as we could, learn what is setting this kid off. And usually it was just the sharing of stuff, and just probably like normal siblings, really. But you know them now, they're like 2 peas in a pod, like BFFs.
I don't think I've ever seen them not together.
Yeah, they, when they are apart, even if it's for 20 minutes, like giving them separate showers, when they're done, they're like, where's Ava, where's Anna? And they're like hugging, like they haven't seen each other in a year. So they really are like siblings now. They are really close, and they want to know where each other's at if they're not here. If one's at grandma's or something. But otherwise I feel like they've adjusted really, Anna especially has adjusted really well to a life in America and life in a family setting.
If there was one thing you wanted people to know about your children being differently abled, what would you tell them?
It's pretty cliche, but I just, like to think about the inclusion. We just want for them what every parent wants for their kid, and they want the same that every other kid wants. And that's to be a part and to be included and to be right there with everybody else. I think about like a specific example that's not necessarily about the social side of things, but when we sit down to eat, Ava doesn't want to have child utensils. She wants what everybody else has, which is big forks. Now, that doesn't work. And we've had to work through things like going from a sippy cup to a regular cup, but that's just a tangible example of, she just wants the same thing. And when she doesn't have it, she does what she has to do to get it. So, what do you think?
Yeah, what was the question?
Can you tell anyone?
People. I think just look for their strengths. Look for what they can do and what they, instead of what they can't do or what they're limited by. And, take cues from us, because we really try to play into their strengths and what they're good at and what they like. And we're happy to share with you what they're good at. And I think too, just don't treat them like babies. I think that's kind of one of my personal pet peeves is they're 6. They don't need to hang on you. They don't need to like touch your face. They don't need to touch your hair. You wouldn't do that with another normal 6-year-old. So I appreciate when people treat them like the age that they are. And really, and this is our job as parents, but push them to be as independent as possible, and don't kind of accept a lesser behavior or habit, if you will, just because they have special needs.
What is the biggest struggle you've had raising the 2 of them together?
We have two older kids, and so I think that's been a challenge for us is to create, just good things, good family times when you've got toddlers. At one point, they're not toddlers anymore, and teenagers, right? And so that's been a tough go for us, I
Yeah.
think.
Well, they didn't choose this life. This is the life that God has called us to, and it's not always been easy, and we haven't always reflected that it's the best life ever. But I think as the girls get older, that is improving. And I think just that first 6 months after we brought Anna home was pretty tough. That's, Ava didn't really have a lot of, she was ornery, but she didn't have a lot of behavior problems really until after that. And I think some of it was just age developmental. She was 3, which is terrible. But then adding that sibling in that was, again, unexpected and having to share, that was a rough season, I think, for me, of just trying to manage their.
We had Ava from the jump,
Yeah.
and Anna got inserted into a situation after 3 years of life, and so
Yeah.
that was a little bit different.
And for your final question, if you could describe both of your girls in one word, what would it be?
I would say for Anna, it's joyful, and I have to explain that because I just don't believe that she has a bad bone in her body. I don't think she understands anger or revenge or all of these negative things, and to me, she symbolizes just joy, which happens to be her middle name, but that was before we figured out how awesome she was. And Ava, I would say, is, and I mean this in the most loving way, is wild, and just does and goes and reacts in a way that just feels like it should be, and it's not always the right way or the easiest way, but I would say wild for Ava.
Yeah. Anna, I think of the word pure. I think that's what I think of for her. And Ava, just spunk. I think just full of life, which is not one word, but just spunk. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys coming and talking with me and being a part of this because it's going to help everyone learn more about the disabilities community, and that's really all that I want to do. So thank you guys.
Of course, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.